Testing. But welcome to A Course in Miracles.
Yay!
Yay!
We made it.
We made it. We made it. I'm having the most incredible experience I've ever had in my life right now.
Wow, that's a lot.
Everything I've studied, everything I've worked for, everything that I've ever wanted in my heart is happening to me now. All those times when I was studying the truth and studying the Course in Miracles and other spiritual teachings and wondering if it was true and wondering if it worked, or was I just kidding myself or deceiving myself, or it looked like I would give it my best efforts and it looked like things didn't go my way, but I kept on doing what it said do and just keep on focusing in, go to the truth first, even if you have a ton of resistance. And every aspect of my life is reflecting back the truth of everything I've ever taught. And it's such a personal experience that the only way that you can communicate it to other people is through the differences in your behavior that it creates. Because you can't, if you tell them, it'll fall flat. That's one thing I want to share with you. If you make a revelation, don't try to explain it to people. Okay? Because it's intensely personal to the person that receives it. And you can't really communicate that to others. But you can let the change it made in you. You know, so what I'm feeling is more gratitude, more appreciation, more acceptance of the truth than ever before. And I don't have that same old fight in me anymore to resist it. And so I asked higher power, the Holy Spirit, I said, well, what do you want me to talk about today? And it says, well, I want you to cover lesson 155. Because my higher self, the Holy Spirit, communicates with me now in a conversation, just like another person does. And I've worked so many years to get to the point that I could hear the Holy Spirit's voice inside of me. That I could hear that voice that was telling me what to do, that would make things right. And it feels so good to be making that connection. Which doesn't mean that everything may always appear to go the way I think I want it to go. But it does mean that no matter how it goes, I got a better way of looking at it.
Yeah.
Y'all follow what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You know, I'm no longer a spiritual baby, so therefore I expect that the truth working is just my fantasies being fulfilled. Now I'm at the point that the truth is what I want, not a means to get something that my fantasy mind wants. It's the goal itself, instead of the means to me getting something, right? So what I want to do is I want to go through this lesson as far as I can go today. But I want to stick to it like I've never stuck to anything that I was teaching. I want us to get a chance to hear it so that if it's just one sentence that can make a difference, we'll hear it. Is that cool?
Yeah. It's cool.
Now, I've been doing the Course in Miracles long enough to know that it's very easy to go unconscious.
To zone out.
Yes. And what I want to do is give you complete permission to do that. It's natural. It's not unnatural. It's natural when you first hear something that's radically different from the way that you think to go unconscious. But guess what? I'm not. I'm going to hear every word I say today. And I'm going to use it to receive even more of the blessings that God has for me.
Yes.
Thank you for being here.
Oh.
Now, I'm going to do this in a conversational way. I'm going to do this in the way Spirit wants me to do it. And so it says, I'm going to step back and let God lead the way. That's the lesson today. I'm going to step back and let love lead the way. I'm going to step back. Now, what does it mean to step back? To step back means you're letting God lead the way. So this lesson is I will step back. I will let God lead the way. I will let love lead the way. I'm going to let the truth lead the way. And do you know that questions hook the mind? So watch this. I'm going to read a sentence to you as a conclusionary statement. There's a way of looking in the world that is not here. although it seems to be. Question 4. Do you know that there's a way of living in the world that's not here, although it seems to be? Did you notice the difference in hearing it? The minute I put it in the form of a question, it hooked the mind. Do you know that there's a way of living in the world that's not here? There's a way of living in the world that's not here. There's a way of living in the world that's not in the world. There's a way of living in the world that's not here, although it seems to be. So there's a way of living in the world that it looks like you're here in the world, going through the stuff that the world experiences, but you're not. As a matter of fact, when you're around people and you're listening to them talk about all the things that they're unhappy about and all the things that they're going through, you can empathize, but it's not necessarily what you are experiencing at all, even though you're standing right next to them. Now I'm going to tell you how you be in the world without being in the world. The first thing you understand is that you don't change your appearance. So nobody's asking us to go change our appearance. But what does happen is that you smile more frequently. You're smiling more, but you look the same. The same person that used to look sad is now this person is looking happy. So goes from an unhappy you to a happy you. And your forehead is serene and your eyes are quiet. And the ones who walk the world as you do recognize their own. So the people who are like you will recognize you. The people on the same level of consciousness as you will recognize you. The people that are on the same spiritual level as you will recognize you. But guess what? Those who have not yet perceived the way, those who are still asleep and think they're separate and victims, right? He says, those beings will also recognize you. They'll still say, hey, Raj, what's going on? But the difference is they'll believe that you are like them the way you were before. So the people who are still asleep, who don't know they create their realities and that they're innocent and that they're not victims, will recognize you even though you're in the world. And the reason why you will be safe with them is, do you want to know why you will be safe with them? Mm-hmm. Because they'll believe you're like them. If you don't open your mouth, they'll think you're just like them. And if they think you're just like them, they're going to be okay with you. Mm-hmm. See, we blow it. Because we think it's our sworn duty to let them know how differently we think from them. Why?
Ego.
Because we want to be special.
Total ego, total specialness. And we just want a hard time. That's the only reason why you would walk up to a fundamentalist, born-again Christian and say, there is no sin. You want to be separate. You're not saying it because you want to be close and you want to heal them. Your ego wants to be separate because that's going to create immediate fear, immediate separation, and immediate distrust of you. They're not going to change their mind to the way you think. They're going to be more afraid of you than ever. Because you don't change a person's mind in a conversation. So next time I'm trying to change somebody's mind in a conversation, I try to remember, you won't. How many times has anybody changed your mind about anything important to you in a conversation? For real. Did you change your whole life direction because somebody had a conversation with you? It's too rare to even bother about. So stop. Earl. Don't you think for a second I don't know who these classes are for. Don't you ever think I'm up here teaching, that I'm up here teaching from the perspective that I got it all together and I'm giving it to people who don't know it. All right. I'm here because I'm teaching what I want to learn, and I know that's the best way to learn something is to teach it and demonstrate it and say it over and over again and remind yourself of it. That's why I'm able to sit in front of you and say, right now, in my life, everything I've ever wanted in my heart is happening. I deserve it. That's why I can say it. I deserve it.
Yes, you do.
I put in the energy and the attention and the time to change a very egotistical young black man into a little bit less egotistical young black man. I'm so proud. I used to be totally insane. Now I'm partially insane.
We can graduate.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. The Course in Miracles teaches that a person can only begin to hear the truth when they're partially sane. That a totally insane person cannot hear it at all. So you wouldn't even be listening to this with any level of receptivity unless you were now partially sane. When someone is not insane, this is what I sound like. So I'm not saying you're insane because you fall asleep. I'm just saying that that's not being, what I'm saying is not being heard right now. Okay? So let's go back. It says there's a way of living in the world that you're not going through the same stuff that everybody else is going through. You don't change the way you look, but you're definitely more happy and you smile more often. Those who are just like you will recognize you so that you don't have to go out hunting for other truth students. Those who are not like you will think you are, and so they'll leave you alone too, if you don't screw it up by talking. Everybody clear? Is that clear? Is that the deep, hard Course in Miracles stuff hard to understand? All right, let's see what he got to say next. The world is an illusion. Now, what is an illusion? The Course in Miracles teaches that an illusion is a false idea. It's something you want to be true so much that even though it's not true, you'll do everything possible to make it look like it's true. He said that's what an illusion is. So when he says the world is an illusion, he's saying the world is what you want to see. It's you seeing whatever it is you really want to see because you want to see it that way. Then it goes on to say, now, those who come to the world are actually seeking for a place that they can be illusions. So what does that mean? It means people who come to the world are seeking a place where they can avoid their own reality, where they can come and avoid looking at the truth about themselves. So let's imagine that we're souls, and then we get a chance to come to earth, and he says, well, some of us come to the earth because we are looking to experience what it would be like to be in a place where it looked like you could be just whatever you wanted to be. And not only that, it says that you're trying to avoid the truth. Now, what is the truth that we are avoiding? So I'll just ask the questions. I'm not going to get in a lot of questions today. That's a message I want to give you. The avoiding the truth means there are some people that want to avoid the fact that they're positively lovable. There are some souls that want to avoid the fact that they're totally abundant and blessed. There are some souls that feel so guilty they want to avoid the fact that they're totally innocent. There are some souls that think they're so bad they want to be in a world that makes them feel that way. They want to avoid their reality. You are totally loved, I'm totally loved, we're totally accepted, we're totally beautiful. There's a part of us that doesn't want to accept that, so it comes into a world that proves to us that that's not what we are. That's how we got here, according to the Course. We wanted to. Nobody compelled us, nobody made us. Earth is a choice we made. You wasn't up in reality, a formless entity, and something just grabbed you and said, be alive! That ain't bills! There's some part of me that didn't believe I deserved to be completely happy all the time, and it created a world in which it looked like I can't be completely happy all the time. Then it says, and when you come here and find your own reality is even here, then you step back and you let it lead the way. So what does that mean? See, I'm going to answer every sentence, because I'm just going to state it in another way. You see I'm not making up the meaning. What does that mean? And
Wait,
yet they will find it. Yet, he says, there are those who come here to avoid the truth, souls, but he says, But when you find that the truth in your reality is even here, you tried to get away from the blessings, but you start to find out that the blessings are even here. He says, then you just step back and you start letting your reality, the love, the truth, the freedom, and the power that you are, you start to let that lead you instead of your ego. What other choices there is to make? To keep on letting illusions and fear walk ahead of you, to keep on letting your lack walk ahead of you, to keep on letting your loneliness and unfulfillment walk ahead of you. He said, do you know that that's madness? To keep on leading a life that doesn't give you joy and following belief systems that don't give you joy and following patterns that don't give you joy. The Spirit is telling us, don't you know that means you are freaking mad? But you're so cute. You're the cutest little mad things that God ever created.
That's right, that's right, that's right.
I'll overlook your madness for a kiss. Have y'all ever kissed an insane person? They have nice lips too, don't they? You just didn't know like the price you was gonna pay for those lips. And some people, when they recognize it's not right for them, you try to kiss them, they go, no, don't kiss me, don't kiss me, don't kiss me. And you, so stupid, you kiss them anyway. Oh, you saying don't kiss me, that means you want me to kiss you. I'm going to try to kiss you even more now. That's how crazy I used to be. I'm going to get you to kiss me. I'm going to give you a dinner to make you kiss me. It worked a lot of times. It looked like it. But it cost me so much more than the dollars I spent that night.
All right, yeah.
But to let illusion, your false ideas, sink behind the truth and let the truth stand forth for what it is sanity. So when I go, Earl, you take your ego and your fear and your suspicion and your doubt and you put that behind you and you let the truth of who you are, you let that stand forth, and then you're going to let that be the truth in your life. Now you're sane.
Check that out.
Yes.
Some of us heard some good music and you just couldn't help yourself and you just start grooving. Am I supposed to be any different because you're here? Thank you. That's what I do by myself. Y'all claim y'all my friends. So should I be hiding from you?
Please don't.
No. That's how I know when a person's my friend. They give me details. They don't talk in abstractions. You talk to me in general terms, you don't trust me yet. And that's okay. When you really trust me, and you tried to hit somebody across the head with a bottle last night, you said, man, last night I lost my mind and I tried to hit somebody upside the head with a bottle. Now I'm your friend. But if you just go, oh, it was just my ego last night. Okay. That's cool. And either way is fine. Don't get me wrong. Either way is fine. I'm perfectly okay with not knowing the details of your problems. Now, this is a simple choice we make today. What is that? Now, once you start practicing the truth, the mad illusion will remain a while in evidence. I'll say that again. When you say you want to go for the truth for a while, you still keep seeing the crazy stuff that you've been creating for a while. You're going to still keep seeing the insanity that you create for yourself. Notice I'm saying you continue to see what? The insanity you create for yourself for a while. The thing you complaining about, Earl? And then it says, now for those to look upon who chose to come and have not yet rejoiced that they made a mistake. So, if you came here and you are not willing to rejoice that you're making a mistake, to want to see any kind of fear and lack and unhappiness in your life, then the thing that's making you unhappy will remain for you to see. Unless you've gotten to the point that you are rejoicing to realize how wrong you are in the way you're looking at things. When you're unhappy, it will stay there. I'm broke. I'm not happy to recognize I'm making a mistake by seeing myself that way, but I'm blaming the economy, I'm blaming my race, I'm blaming my background, I'm blaming Obama, I'm blaming Russia. Well, you will stay broke in your perception because you're not rejoicing to recognize that you're the one that's making the mistake in choosing to see yourself that way. Now, when you're refusing to see that you're the one that's choosing to see yourself that way, he says, then you can't learn directly from the truth. The truth wants to directly show you your abundance. It wants to directly show you companionship. It wants to directly show you love, but it can't directly do it as long as you are not happy to recognize that you made a mistake in choosing to see yourself as lacking, guilty, bad, weak, and not enough. And then it says you can't learn directly from the truth because you keep denying it. So I can't learn the truth that I am powerful and loved if I keep denying that I'm powerful and loved. Okay. Questions or comments about what, and I'm going to stay focused on the subject, no matter what the question you ask me, okay? I'm not going to be diverted into something separate. I'll take whatever you say, and I'm going to relate it to what's been said. Is that fair enough? Mm-hmm. Okay, yeah.
So back before you were saying something about the souls decided that they, and I can't remember exactly, they decided that they wanted to experience the fear that
they came because they're seeking a place where they can avoid the truth and where they can avoid their reality.
So by avoiding it, are they doing it as an experience, or are they receiving it as a soul too? It's like, as a soul, I was under the impression that we knew that we were loved and unlimited and all of that. But is there a part of us as a soul that
the part of us that doesn't think that, and there's obviously a part of us that doesn't think that, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, here.
Okay, then that part of us created the world we think we're in. So let's just look at it this way, Joe. Okay. Let's say this is you, your whole mind, right? And since you can think anything because you're unlimited, see, that's what that unlimited thing is what gets us every time we don't know it. Because if you're unlimited, you can think anything you want to think, even if it's not the truth, because you're unlimited, right? So you had a thought that you were separate, and you had a thought that you were not enough. What would it be like to be separate? What would it be like to think that I could be a victim? What could it be like? What would it be like to be a body? What would it be like to seem like I'm different from every other part of me? Then that part of your mind created a world that it's looking at.
Oh, interesting.
And you're in it. You're about to see that?
Uh-huh.
The part of your mind that thinks it's separate created a world that it looks like it's separate in. That's why we're here. Could it be that simple? But how could you keep the separation and thinking that you're different and not enough? How could you keep that going? You have to forget temporarily that you are this whole cool thing. Or else how could you buy into it? You have to forget that you're loved. You have to forget that there's a God. You have to forget that you're connected if you want to have a separate relationship. Why would I want to do that? Because I want it to be special.
It sure did, huh?
Do you mean insane?
Totally insane.
Yeah.
It's special.
I thought I'm bored being perfect and limited, so let me just go a little insane.
Well, see, and that's the greatest ego trick of all, is to make us think peace is boring, that fulfillment is boring, and that being happy all the time is boring. Now, we wouldn't fall for the trick of the part of our mind that's trying to play this game. It's got to convince you that if you had peace all the time, you'd be bored. And that if you had everything you wanted, that would suck. And when someone, the Course in Miracles says, when someone says back to us the way we think, it sounds crazy to us. But we never hear it just said back to us. And that sounds crazy, isn't it? When I said it, it sounds crazy. That would be something wrong with you experiencing joy and happiness all the time. See, because he says, as long as we hear bits and fragments of what we think, it makes sense to us. But when somebody puts the whole thought system together and just hands it back to us, we go, that's the craziest crap I've ever heard in my life. So that answers your question at all. Unless you just want to analyze it more, you could just go with it.
Yeah.
Thank you. Appreciate that. Anybody else?
So I want to ask you about this paragraph over here. This simple choice we make, mad illusion will remain a while, and evidence for those to look upon who choose to come and have not yet rejoiced to find they were mistaken in their choice. They cannot learn directly from the truth because they have denied that it is so.
How can I learn directly from the Course if I'm denying the Course is true?
Well, for me, I'm seeing that a big obstacle for me that keeps me in denial is my fascination with guilt. And so how do I see that, and I've been asking Holy Spirit to take that away, and is it?
Choose to see it that way.
Okay.
Did you hear what I said?
Yeah.
Choose to see it that way. Choose to interpret it as you are innocent without having to believe it when you first say it. And then you keep on saying it until you believe it, and then you see it. That's how you do it. You keep telling yourself stuff that you don't believe the way you've been doing all your life. Now, when the truth starts to get to you, weariness is normal. That's why I'm going to keep pushing forward.
That's right.
Okay, I'm not going to spend a lot of time on discussion. It's the best way in the world to kill the energy of a class if you do it too long. It's okay to do it a little bit, but if you turn it into a discussion group, it'll be another boring class. So nobody's as interested in what you got to say as you are. Okay, here we go. That's the truth. Because there's not a question you can ask me that I can't answer from the Course within 5 minutes. And anything over that is just the ego's dance. I promise you. There's nothing you can ask me about. And I'm not saying I'm a guru. I've studied this book 34 years. So there's nothing you can ask me, I think, from the Course that I couldn't give you an answer that the Course says. But I can't hang around until you accept it. Mm-hmm. And none of us can. Yeah. That makes sense.
That's the choice.
That's the choice. It's like, you got another way of looking at it. You choosing not to use it. It's not fair to expect us to wait around until you get ready to use it when we're ready to move on, because you got the answer you asked for.
That's right.
Which is always easier than anything your ego has come up with for you to do. Yes. And every answer I give is always an answer you could do right now. And every answer the ego gives is always something you got to earn, work, or project into the future before you can have it. Every time. But people would rather do that than choose to see something differently. They'd rather work 60 hours a week on a job they hate than to say, I don't like the way I feel right now, give me another way to look at it. Okay, the other way to look at it is this. You chose to come here. As soon as you become happy to realize you made a mistake about anything you told yourself is not loving, and at that point, then you will see that all the love you ever wanted can even be here.
All right.
that you're not asked to sacrifice a doggone thing. Not your car, not your house, not your special relationship, not your child, not your flat screen TV. It's not asking you to give up anything, because all of that's neutral. It's only asking you to say, I am going to let the truth that I'm studying lead my life now. The people who are like me, they're going to find me, and I'm going to find them. We're going to be attracted to each other. The rest of these jokers that's a part of me, that's not ready yet, I'm going to leave them there alone.
So if I took that in a way that made me uncomfortable, it was just my ego perceiving it the wrong way.
Well, the ego would see any way that would get you out of your dilemma, seeing it the wrong way.
Yeah.
So anything, any answer that anybody gives you that may take you out of your pain, your ego is going to feel resistance to it, because your ego is the part of you that believes you deserve to suffer. And so anyone abdicating you from, absolving you from any form of suffering will not be a person that your ego wants to listen to or would have no resistance to. So just the mere fact that I'm telling everybody in this room that they deserve to be happy all the time, no matter what, is enough to bring up resistance. Because every part of you that thinks you deserve to suffer in order to be okay does not want to hear that suffering isn't the answer because you're so good at it. We're expert sufferers. And it's hard for me to believe I've done all this blasted suffering all my life for nothing. So I should be happy to hear that, but I'm really not happy to hear that. Because I've done a lot of suffering. You're trying to tell me that goes for nothing? That's exactly, so that's what I'm saying. So I'm going to stop now. And hold on to your questions. I'm going to tell you, we got to do it that way. It'll turn into a discussion, question and answer, analyzation group. And I'm not going to have one of them. Okay? Now, he says, oh, I love this. He says, now you're going to keep, I'm going to do this in common language. Y'all ready? He says, now you're going to keep going through what you've been going through if you don't rejoice that you were mistaken in your choice. Because I want to make it practical. Then it says, you don't learn directly from the truth, and the reason you don't learn directly from the truth that you're studying is because you keep denying that it's the truth. Then it goes on to say, and since you won't accept the truth for yourself and you keep denying the truth, that which created you loves you so much that it gave you a teacher who sees that you're totally fucking crazy, but can look beyond your craziness to the truth in you and the love in you. So I can't love me. I refuse to love me. I won't see the truth about me. So that which created me gave me a me that loves me so much that it'll see right through my madness and still keep giving me the love even though I think I don't deserve it. That's what we just heard. That's what love does. It gives you love whether you deserve it or not. Fear and specialness doesn't. Fear and specialness don't work that way. Specialist is totally conditional. I'm going to give you, if you promise me that you won't go to dinner with no other man, baby, you got me forever. If you promise me you won't look at nobody else. Promise me, matter of fact, don't you even think about it. Don't you even imagine. Then you have me, baby. Me. And now, never mind that my love is totally dysfunctional, that I don't know how to really love nobody. But you want me, don't you? And then I'm so insane, and I feel so unloved that the fact that you would give me all this specialness, if I would just sacrifice my freedom in every way, I say, yeah, baby, and I'll do it for you too. And then we have a marriage made in heaven. It's me and you, baby. But the way I see it is one insane person has singled out another insane person to keep both of them off the street. So everybody benefits through monogamy. I'm a total proponent. Because no sane person would ever allow themselves to be limited for any reason, for anybody, in any way. Because they know love is freedom. Now, if both of us know we're insane and we know we have fear and we want to get past our fear and learn how to love more, we might get together while we know we need specialness and come up with agreements between us that we need to have between us so that we won't feel afraid, so that we can gradually open our hearts up more to not want to limit each other as much as we used to.
Wow, think about that.
And you call that a one-on-one relationship. You don't use the relationship to stay limited. You use the relationship to practice letting go of the blocks to the unlimited love you are. Then you can be as jealous and you can be as possessive as you want to be with each other, as long as you don't make that the long-term goal.
There you go.
Because no sane person would. Fearful people can be vicious, and fearful people attack. So you mess around with somebody who believes love is limitation, and you messing around with somebody who potentially will attack you if they feel threatened by you and your behavior. Now, if your specialness is worth going through that type of possibility, then go for it. Because you'll never have who you want until you're willing to be without them.
Say that again, Earl.
You'll never have who you really want unless you're willing to be without them. So every time I really want somebody, I work as diligently on not wanting them as I do on wanting them, or having to not have them as much as I focus on wanting to have them. I have to do both of those together in order to do it right. Does that make sense to everybody? So if I'm attracted to you, I'm going to be studying just as hard every day not to make you my God as I want to be with you. You're the main one I need to keep from being my idol. Because it's doubly dangerous if you want me for yours. And I want you for mine. At least if I want to make you an idol and you're not interested in me, I can't get in the relationship. So I'm saved. But what if I walk up on the person that's the most dangerous of all? They want me as much as I want them. Woo! That's really the dangerous one. Because now you limit yourself and think that's normal and be glad that you are. Until you recognize that they're not going to act out your every need, which is impossible for them to do, by the way. Which you find out really rapidly when you totally focus on each other to the exclusion of everyone else. So go for it. Because that'll be the sooner you find out, this ain't going to work. But as long as you think you don't have that one-on-one and they're really into you and you're really into them and there's nobody else but you, you'll fool yourself with that erroneous idea that they can satisfy you completely. So go ahead and let yourself have whatever kind of form of relationship you want. But just don't feel guilty about it. And you'll be okay. Just say, this is the way I am, this is the way I want it, this is the way it has to be for me right now. And feel innocent about that, however you see that for you. Because if you don't give the universe mixed messages, then it will give you the perfect match for you. But you got to stop giving the universe mixed messages. I sort of want this. Oh, but I sort of want, I kind of want that. I kind of want this over here. I think I'll accept. Well, bottom is, are they breathing? Then I want you. As a matter of fact, breathing is optional. If you're cute enough, I'll deal with you for a few days, even if you're not breathing. You'll be more submissive. We don't talk no way. So what's the difference? If you're with somebody you don't talk to, that's like being with a dead person. So we already there. What you call people that make love to dead bodies? What you call them?
Necrophilia.
That's what we are. Divine necrophiliacs.
Oh my God.
I don't care about your mind, baby. I don't care about a thing you're thinking. That's why we don't talk. As long as your body is right here, next to me, to receive my sacrifice. And I'm only interested in what you're thinking. It's me and you. I'm only interested in what you're thinking in this way. Is what you thinking going to take your body further away from me? Or is what you thinking going to bring your body closer to me? Now you go into this class and it looks like it's taking you away from me. I don't like this class. But if you go into the Course in Miracles and you come home and you rip my clothes off, Go to that class every time. I'll take you there. So that's where the ego thinks about relationships. It's only interested in what its partner or friend thinks relative to how threatening it is to your specialist. Is this too straight up for everybody? Is that, do y'all recognize anything about us in what I'm saying? Okay, now, what Spirit is promising us is this. Even if you do it that way, even if you do it in a way that doesn't reflect truth, the truth is going to still find you, and the love is going to still find you, even when you're trying to pursue it that way, if you're sincerely seeking it. It's hard for us to deal with a teaching that says there is no loss, because we're so used to believing you can lose. So when you walk up on something that nothing you can do can make you lose, what does it create? Disbelief. Because he says we're ingrained with the idea that love demands sacrifice, that you got to give up something about what you like to be with somebody, or that love also is something that you have to suffer through, that you got to deal with all this pain if you really love somebody. And the Course in Miracles is saying, that's a lie. But I don't know how to love without sacrifice, and I don't know how to love unconditionally, and I don't know how to love without rules, and I don't know how to love without limiting. And he said, well, you will meet those who are just like you. And then what you all do is get together and decide y'all want to go beyond your limitations together. Then you'll appreciate each other the longer you're together, and you'll get turned on by each other the more you're together. Because you see each other as really having an adventure of how much can we let go of our fear together. And then you had the coolest relationship you ever had in your friggin' life. Okay. So let me go back and say this really, because it's so good, it's easy to miss it. If you're not happy to recognize that you're the one that made the choice to make you miserable, then you've been given a teacher who can see how insane you think, but will look beyond how insane that you're acting to the truth of how cool you are. That's what, in case you don't realize it, and I don't realize it, what Spirit just told us is the purpose of a relationship. Like if I'm going to be in a relationship with you, and for a while you're misperceiving yourself, then as your partner, my job is to see that right now it looks like you're going crazy and you're upset about something, but I'm going to keep looking at the truth in you, which is I know that you are loving and that you are lovable and you're just calling for love and you're just calling for compassion, and you wouldn't be acting this way unless you was afraid of losing my love. You see what I'm saying? That's what if you're not going to be in a relationship with somebody who's remembering who you are beyond when you forget, what's the point? Okay, so then it goes on to say this, and this is really deep. It says, if the truth, and I'm saying to make it more personal. It says, if the truth demanded that you give up the world, like a lot of truth books are like they're saying, you can't have a body, you can't enjoy sex, you can't enjoy sensuality, you can't have money, you can't go on vacation, you can't, you can't buy legal pot in Colorado, whatever it's saying to you. It says to us, if God demanded that you give up anything you wanted, it would appear to you as if you were being asked to sacrifice something that's real and valuable to you. If I ask you to give up something when you're not ready to give it up, you're going to react as if I'm asking you to sacrifice. So no conscious being ever asks anybody to give up what they want to keep. So as your partner, I would never ask you to sacrifice for me. As your partner, I would never, ever ask you to sacrifice for me. That's what I would do if I loved you. I wouldn't do it like I used to do it. If you really love me, then you would really do it differently than the way you're doing it right now. If you really love me, then you tell somebody, I'm not trying to change you, but if you really love me, you would change. Y'all heard that one? Yeah. It's like that's the game. Oh, no, I don't want to change you. I don't want to change. But if you really love me, and you know I didn't like for you to go to certain kind of movies, then you wouldn't go to those movies. See, we think love is sacrifice. If you love me, then you sacrifice everything that gives you pleasure if it bothers me. Why in the world would somebody want to be in a relationship like that? It doesn't have the slightest bit of attraction to me anymore. But it used to. when the form was more important than the content. When the body was more important to me than the mind, yes, I would sacrifice. Now that it's not, it appalls me to even think that I was in a relationship where someone was telling me everything you love to do, you stop doing so that you can show me love. That person is cruel who would even make a request like that on you. Even your enemies don't do that. My enemies don't come to the house and ask me to sacrifice. It's always the people who say they love me that ask me to sacrifice. My enemies leave me alone. That's why they're my enemies. That's cool. Gives love your enemy a whole other meaning. Doesn't it? I love you. You're my enemy. So you stay separate from me and don't mess with me and stay the heck away from me and don't interfere with my life because you don't like me. You're my enemy. I love you, enemy. I love you. Do this for me. Do that for me. Do it this way. Don't do it that way. Do this for me. Do that for me. And do this for me. And do that for me. And do this for me. And that for me. And do this for me. And that for me. I love you. Who's the friggin' enemy? The one that's asking you to sacrifice or the one that's leaving you alone to be yourself? Woo! Woo! Now, those of you who are in love with the idea of sacrifice, I'd like to say two things. Number one, you're perfectly free to sacrifice as much as you like, for as long as you would like, with whoever you like to sacrifice with. That's how free you are. So there's nothing to argue about, right? If you want to sacrifice and you want people to sacrifice for you, then be clear about that. Be clear about that. And you will draw a person to you as a lover or a friend who will always be asking sacrifices of you, since you're into it. Those of you who no longer want to sacrifice, and you're clear you don't want to sacrifice, you want to share, you want to give from love, then you will in turn draw people into your life who will be protecting you not to, they will be absolutely insisting that you don't sacrifice for them. So is everybody clear? Those who like to sacrifice, am I taking your sacrifice away? No. Those who would like to let go of it, am I encouraging that? Then there's nothing to debate.
Yay!
Yay.
So then it goes on to say, many have chosen to renounce the world while still believing that it's real. There are people in the world putting the world down, but they still think it's really real, but they're putting it down. And then he says, and these are the people who suffer a sense of loss, and they haven't been released either. There are people who are constantly saying, I renounce the world, but they still believe it's real. And then he says, there are other people that have chosen nothing but the world in the way the world teaches. And he says, and these people who choose nothing but the world, and they believe everything the ego tells them, and they believe everything their fear tells them, they believe everything their perception of separation tells them. He says, these people have suffered from a sense of loss that is still deeper. But they just don't understand why they always feel like something's missing. Those are your classic people who are doing everything. They got the degree, they got the house, they got the money, they got the 401k, they got the 2.5 children, they got the handsome husband, they got the good-looking body, they got everything that the world says you should have, and they still are not happy. They're the ones who what? They have chosen nothing but the world. And so they suffer from a loss that's even different, that they don't even understand. Woo! Woo! He said, but between these paths, there's another path that leads away from loss and every kind of sacrifice. Do you want to go there? Do you want to leave sacrifice and deprivation behind?
Yes.
Well, there's a way. That's the way you've been appointed. We are on a path that leads us away from sacrifice and loss. We are on a path that leads us away from loss. We are on a path that we've been appointed on that leads away from path, and you're going to walk this path as other people walk the path. You don't seem to be distinct from them, even though you really are very distinct from them, and then you can serve them while you're serving yourself. In other words, me following the road to happiness and away from loss and sacrifice and toward God actually helps everybody else who's choosing to go through any kind of pain. Also, you are also setting their footsteps on the way that God has opened up to you and them through you. So if I go toward no sacrifice, and I go toward love, and I go toward letting go of any sense of victimhood, then I am showing those who believe in that there's another way to go. That's a loving thing to do. You mean by me just going in the direction of love, that I'm actually letting myself be happy and letting myself experience my connection to God, then just me doing that, I'm also setting everybody else on the way that God has opened up to me? Yes. Now your personality and your ego, which is your illusion, your personality still seems to cling to you. Your ego still seems to cling to you. Why? So that you can reach them. If you don't come toward them in a personality and a body that they can relate to, then they're not going to listen to you. If I was talking to you right now and I didn't have a body, you couldn't relate to me. So I have to look like you, right? And I have to talk like you, and I have to drive a car, and I have to have on clothes, and I have to do everything like you, right? Why? So that you can be reached by me. He says, but the truth is, the madness, the ego has stepped back, and so when I speak to the people in my life, it's not the false ideas that they hear me speak about. It's not the false ideas of fear that I bring their eyes to look at. And it's not false ideas of fear that I bring to your minds to grasp. Is that not true? You're looking at me, it looks like I'm a body, but I'm not talking to you about fear and guilt. I'm talking to you about love and innocence. And I'm not bringing false ideas for you to look at. And I am not bringing you fearful ideas for your mind to try to understand. He says, nor can the truth which walks ahead of you speak to them through illusions, because you are on a road now that leads past all fear, all illusion, all sacrifice, and all pain. You're on a road that leads away from pain. You're on a road that leads away from lack. You're on a road now that leads away from suffering. You're on a road now that leads away from any kind of sickness, death, poverty, attack, hurt. You're on the road away from that.
Yeah.
Would you acknowledge yourself for hearing this much right now? So, let's do the financial expression of appreciation. Thank you for sharing with me in my full-time ministry with this material. Thank you on the internet, those of you who share with me. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through the whole class, and then right at the end, I'm going to open it up for general announcements because I don't want them on the video itself. Okay, is that fair enough? Okay, so I'm gonna leave that room open at the end because I'm recording it. Okay, so let's do that right quick. I said again, thank you so much for sharing with me. Thank you for sharing with me.
Thank you for sharing with us.
Thank you so much. All that you give is given to yourself. All that I give is given to myself. I'm thankful that I realized that all that I give is given to myself.
And you can also make financial appreciation on your website, correct?
Yeah, you can also go to my website, earlpurdy.com, for those of you online who also would like to do that. Go to earlpurdy.com, and I'm available for one-on-one sessions called clarity sessions, where I take the stuff that we're talking about in the class and I apply it to your personal situation. The Course in Miracles teaches that application is specific. Application is specific. That until you learn how to apply this to specific situations in your life, you won't go and get into the knowledge of truth that transforms your whole experience. So when I'm doing a one-on-one, is we get into your story and we get down to the specifics and how you can get past that block and allow yourself to have joy. And it's awesome when we allow ourselves to do that. I love when people counsel with me and they talk from their ego and not try to be spiritual. So we can go ahead and get down to the real deal. You know what I'm saying? So those of you who are interested in it online, as well as all the details about it, is at earlpurdy.com. All of it. So I'm willing to do that.
They're profound.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that. I really do. I really do. Okay, so this is what I'd like you to do right now in this last 5 minutes. Just close your eyes a minute. Because you need to integrate this. You need to let it in. Your feet are safely set upon the road that leads the world to love. Don't look to other ways that seem to lead elsewhere. Stop looking for other ways. Stop looking for other ways other than the way to truth. I'm not saying the Course in Miracles is the only way. I'm not saying the Course in Miracles is the only way. I'm saying the truth is the only way. All the dreams of the world are not worthy guides for you. All the fear in the world, that's not a worthy guide. The teachings of the world are not a worthy guide for you. So don't forget that your inner guide, not my inner guide, your inner guide, has placed its hands in yours. You've been given each other. We've been given each other in God's trust, that we are worthy of the trust in us. You can't be deceived in love. Love cannot be deceived. So if you can be deceived, you are not looking through love. If you can ever be fooled, you're not looking through love. No one can deceive you whom you love. They'll never be able to fool you if you love them. If you really love them, they can't deceive you. So our Creator's trust in us has made our pathway certain and our goals secure. And we're not going to fail each other. 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 And so now your higher power is asking that you think of it just a while each day, so that your higher power can speak to you. Think of your higher power a little while each day. And when you're listening to God, when you're listening to your higher power is going to tell you of its love. It's going to remind you how trusted you are. It's going to remind you that the love that you are experiencing is so unlimited that even if you deceive yourself into thinking that you deserve to suffer, that love that created you is going to save you, it's going to love you, it's going to heal you, it's going to remove every block in any way that keeps you from recognizing how loved and appreciated and how powerful and how beautiful you are. You are beyond your own era. You are beyond your own era. You are beyond your own era. So this is the thought that we're going to say for 1 minute, 2 minutes. I'm going to go to 2 o'clock. And I'm going to keep saying it. And you can listen or you can join in. It's okay. Don't make yourself feel like you have to say something out loud if you don't feel like it. Because you might just want to listen to my beautiful voice. So in your name, and in God's name, which are the same, we practice gladly with the thought, this thought today. We practice gladly with this thought today. I will step back and let God lead the way. For I would walk along the road to God. I will step back and let God lead the way. For I would walk along the road to God. I will step back and let God lead the way. For I would walk along the road to God. I will step back and let God lead the way. For I would walk along the road to God. I will step back and let God lead the way. For I would walk along the road to God. I will step back and let truth lead the way. For I would walk along the road to truth. I will step back and let truth lead the way. For I would walk along the road to truth. I will step back and let love lead the way. For I would walk along the road to love. I will step back and let love lead the way. For I would walk along the road to love. I will step back and let abundance lead the way. For I would walk along the road to abundance. I will step back and let abundance lead the way. For I would walk along the road to abundance. I will step back and let health lead the way. For I would walk along the road to health. I will step back and let health lead the way. For I would walk along the road to health. I will step back and let freedom lead the way. For I would walk along the road to freedom. I will step back and let freedom lead the way. For I would walk along the road to freedom. I will step back and let freedom lead the way. For I would walk along the road to freedom. I will step back and let peace lead the way. For I would walk along the road to peace. I will step back and let peace lead the way. For I would walk along the road to peace. For I would walk along the road to peace. I would walk along the road to peace. I will walk along the road to peace. I would walk along the road to God. I would walk along the road to God. God bless you. Thank you for coming today. Let's give it, come on now. This is for us. Come on. Do we hear anything? Let's give it up to us. We deserve